Hey everyone, I'm back with part 5, which is the last part of PGPP chapter question answers from ICA Study Mat. Okay, in this video I'll be covering rest of the exercise question, that is from question number 6 to 11, and and after that this chapter question answers will be over. Okay, so the PDF link you will get in the description box. You can download the PDF link. Do watch the video till the end. Don't forget to subscribe the channel if you're not subscribed, and also click on the bell icon and do share with your friends so that they can also enjoy the benefit of this channel. Okay, so let's start with question number 6. The trading and profit and loss account of Pingu Trading Private Limited, having business of agriculture produce, consumer items and other products for the year ended 31st March 2020. So Pingu Limited is engaged in the business of agriculture produce, consumer items and other products. Okay, trading account is given, sales, closing stock, opening stock is given, purchase is given, freight and cartage is given. So gross profit came after that. So after that, gross profit has been taken to profit and loss account. Profit and loss account is given, income tax refund, warehousing charges, and in the debit side of the profit and loss account, bonus to staff, rent of premises, advertisement, bad debt, interest on loan, depreciation, goods and service tax demand paid, miscellaneous expenses, and net profit for the year is 33,90,000. Okay, this was a profit loss account. Let's see what they've written. On scrutiny of records, the following further information and details were gathered. Okay, extracted or gathered. There was a survey under section 133A on the business premises on 31st March 2020, in which it was revealed that the value of the closing stock of 31st March 2019 was 8,75,000. Okay, and a sale of rupees 75,000 made on 13th March 2020 was not recorded in the books. So this sales was not recorded in the books. The value of the closing stock after considering these facts and on the basis of inventory prepared by the department as on 31st March 2020 worked out to be 12,50,000, which was accepted to be correct and not disputed. So in this case, the opening stock will be 8,75,000. They have considered 3,75,000. So they have not shown it correctly, and the sales 75,000 has not been shown. So in the sales, that is 1,55,50,000. That 75,000 will be added. Okay, and closing stock is 12,50,000, whereas they are shown 4,50,000. Okay, we'll have to prepare a trading account once again. Okay. I'll show you adjustment after that. Let's read all the questions first. Income tax refund includes amount of rupees 4,570 of interest allowed thereon. Okay, so interest on refund is taxable under the head income from other sources. So this will be okay. So they have credited to profit and loss account as it is included in profit and loss account. So it will be deducted. So entire refund will be deducted, as income tax refund is not taxable under the head PGBP, as income tax or refund is not taxable. Only interest on income tax refund is taxable, and that too in the income from other sources. So we have to deduct from entire amount 20,000, and income tax refund, interest on income tax refund will be chargeable to income from other sources. Okay. Now number 3, bonus to staff includes an amount of rupees 7,500 paid in the month of December, which was provided in the books on 31st March 2019. Okay, so as you all know that bonus which is paid is allowed on payment basis. Okay, so it should be allowed, and the bonus to staff includes an amount. Okay, it has already been debited to account, PL account, so no adjustment is required. Okay. Now number 4, rent of premises includes an amount of rupees 5,500 incurred on repairs. The SSC was under no obligation to incur such expenses as per the rent agreement. So rent on premises, it will be allowed, as if we consider it as revenue expenditure, it will be allowed. We'll see in the adjustment what they are saying regarding this. Okay. Now moving to next adjustment, advertisement expense includes an amount of rupees 22,500 paid for advertisement published in the souvenir issued by political party. This payment is made by way of an account paycheck. So this amount which is charged to PL account, it should be added back. Okay, and it will deduction will be allowed under section 80 GGB under chapter 6A. Okay. Now miscellaneous expenses includes amount of rupees 15,000 paid towards penalty for non-fulfillment of delivery conditions of a contract of sale for the reason beyond control. Okay, so 15,000 is an allowable expense as it is contract for violation of contract. It is not contract for violation of law. Penalty for not, it is penalty for violation of contract, and it is not penalty for violation of law. So only penalty for violation of contract is allowed. So 15,000 has been debited to profit account. No treatment is required. And next, number B, amount of rupees 1 lakh paid to wife of a director who is working as a junior lawyer for taking an opinion on a disputed matter. The junior advocate of High Court normally charges only 25,000 for the same opinion. Okay, so 75,000 should be disallowed as it was excess amount paid to director's relative. So 75,000 will be disallowed. Okay, excess payment made to director's wife. Okay, and amount of rupees 1 lakh paid to electoral trust by check, so it will also be disallowed and it will be added back, and it will be deduction will be given under chapter 6A. Point number 7, goods and service tax demand paid includes an amount of rupees 5,300 charged as penalty for delayed filing of return and 12,750 towards interest for delayed in deposits of tax. So 12,750 no treatment is required. 5,300, that is delayed penalty for violation of law, so this will be disallowed. Okay, this will be added back as it had already been debited to profit account, so 5,300 will be added back. The next adjustment, the company had made an investment of 25 lakhs on a construction of a warehouse in a rural area for the purpose of storage of agriculture produce. This was made available for use from 15th September 2019, and the income from the activity is credited to profit loss account under the head warehousing charges. So we have to remove that warehousing charges which is credited to profit loss account, as it will be treated as separately as it was business from specified business. So it will be separate adjustment will be there. So 15 lakh will be the income, and we'll have to deduct 100% deduction of capital expenditure, that is 25 lakhs. So 15 lakh minus 25 lakh, so there is a loss from specified business, and it will be carried forward, as because specified business loss can be adjusted against specified business income, and the income of normal business cannot be set off, so no adjustment can be made in this year. Okay, now depreciation under the Income Tax Act 1961 works out to at 65,000. so whatever depreciation was there in the profit loss account, that is rupees 71,500. okay, it will be added back, and this depreciation 65,000 will be reduced. Okay, interest on loan includes an amount of rupees 80,000 on which tax has not been deducted. So as we are assuming it that it is paid to a resident, so interest on loan which is paid without deducting tax, 30% of the expense will be disallowed. So on 80,000 will disallow 30% of that, and accordingly will compute the business income. Okay, what is they are required to calculate? Compute the income chargeable to tax for the assessment year 2021 of Pingu Trading Private Limited. Ignore MAT and provisions of section 115 BAA. Support your answer with working notes. Okay, they tell us to compute income chargeable to tax for the assessment year 2021. Okay, let's see the solution. Computation of income of Pingu Trading Private Limited chargeable to tax for the assessment year 2021. So net profit as per the profit loss account is 33,90,000. it was shown in the profit loss account. Okay, difference in the value of stock dedicated on survey under section 133A on 31st March 2020 charged as income. Okay, so see they are showing a note to there. Note number 1, how they calculated 3,75,000. let's see. So note number 1, the business premises were surveyed and difference in the figure of opening and closing stock and sales were found, which has been disputed and accepted by the SEC. Therefore, the trading account for the year is to be recasted to arise at the correct amount of gross profit or net profit for the purpose of return of income to be filed for the previous year ended 31st March 2020. Okay, so revised trading account is sales, they have whatever sale was there 1 crore 55 lakh 50,000, on that 75,000 is added, so it's coming to 1 crore 56 lakh 25,000. Closing stock is 12 lakh 50,000 as it was given in the adjustment. Okay, it was given in the adjustment. And opening stock, as I said, it was 3 lakh 75,000 shown in trading account, but it should be 8 lakh 75,000. And rest of the items are same, that is purchase and freight, that I am showing you. Purchase and freight is there. Purchase is same and freight is same, only they have changed all these three figures and they have shown these three figures from this adjustment. Profit, okay, 8 lakh 75,000 they are showing opening stock, and 12 lakh 50,000 they are showing closing stock. Okay, and on sales, that was 1 crore 55 lakh 50,000, they have added 75,000. Okay, so revised trading account, and the profit is gross profit is going up to 32 lakh 99,000. Okay, so difference of gross profit is 32 lakh 99,000 minus 29 lakh 24,000, that is 3 lakh 75,000 is to be added as income of the business of the year. So this, they have shown short income less in, so 29 lakh there, 24,000 they had showed, but it should be 32 lakh 99,000. so balance, this should be taxable and it should be added in the profit loss account. So it has been added. See, okay, see 3 lakh 75,000 and be added, so amount is coming to 37 lakh 65,000. Okay, less income tax refund credited to profit loss account, out of which interest is to be considered separately under the head income from other sources. As I said, entire 20,000 will be deducted from the profit loss account, and it is been deducted, so it's coming to 37 lakh 45,000. And let me show you income from other sources. So income from other sources, interest on income tax refund is 4,570. they have shown it separately under the head income from other sources. Okay, now let's see next adjustment. Add expenses either not allowable or to be considered separately but charged to in the profit loss account. Okay, repairs expenses on rented premises where SSC is under no obligation to incur such expenses are not allowable as per section 30A. Okay, where there was no obligation, SSC has incurred any expense, so it will not be allowed. However, if such expense are required for carrying on business efficiently, the same are allowable under section 37. Okay, if though it was not allowable as per section 30A1, but where it is necessary for carrying out business efficiently, then the same will be allowed under section 37. So in this case, assuming that such expense are required for carrying out business efficiently, the same are allowable under section 37. Okay, so no adjustment is required. They have done dash on that because already it had been debited to profit loss account. Okay, hope you understood. Advertisement in the souvenir or political party not allowable as per section 37 2B, so it has been added back. Okay, and as I said, it will chapter 6A deduction will be given. So under deduction under chapter 6 deduction under section 80 GGB is 2,500. they have deducted that. Okay, now next adjustment, payment made to wife of a director examined as per section 40A2 and the excess payment made to be disallowed. So 75,000 will be disallowed as 1 lakh payment was made, and the similar cases other advocate, other lawyer are charging 25,000. so excess payment was 75,000, and so it should be disallowed, so they have added back. Okay, payment made to electoral trust by check 1 lakh. So payment made to electoral trust by check, it is no deduction is allowed under PGBP. It will be allowed under chapter 6A, so it has been added back, and 1 lakh is shown as deduction to electoral trust under chapter 6A 80 GGB. Okay, so 1 lakh has been deducted. So total deduction under chapter 6 is coming to 1,02,500. Okay, so let's see the next adjustment. Penalty levied by the Goods and Service Tax Department for delayed filing of return not allowable as being paid for infringement of law. So as I said, 5,300 will be disallowed, as only penalty for violation of any law is disallowed and penalty for violation of contract is allowed. Okay, so penalty is allowed, interest is allowed, as 12,000 something amount was there, so it has not been added back. Only 5,300 penalty for violation of law is added back. Okay, 5,300 has been added back. So and depreciation as per books, as I said, 71,500 will be added back. okay, and depreciation as per income tax act will be deducted, so 65,000 they have deducted, okay. And 30% of interest paid on loan without deduction of tax at source not allowable as per section 40A IA. So as I had said, on 80,000 they have computed 30%, so it's coming to 24,000. So total amount after adding back is coming to 40,23,300. 65,000 depreciation is deducted, so it's coming to 39,58,300, okay. And now income from specified business, as I said, it will be deducted from the business, normal business, okay. Warehousing charges credited to profit loss account to be charged separately, so 15 lakh is deducted. So amount income from business other than specified business is coming to 24,58,300, okay. So now they're computing it separately. Computation of income or loss from specified business, okay. So income from specified business is 15 lakh and less deduction under section 35AD is 100% of 25 lakhs is 25 lakhs, okay. So loss from specified business to be carried forward as per section 73A, that is 10 lakh, okay. So total loss under section 35AD is 10 lakh, okay. And income from other sources is interest, as I have already showed you previously. Interest on income tax refund is taxable under the head income from other sources, so they have considered separately. So gross total is coming to 24,62,870, and after deducting the chapter 6A deduction under chapter 6A, 1,02,500, the total income is coming to 23,60,370, okay. Now we'll see the notes, all the notes. First note we have already discussed. Now note number 2, bonus for the previous year 18-19 paid after the due date for filing of return for that year would have been disallowed under section 43B for the previous 18-19. We are assuming that it in the previous 18-19 it has already been disallowed. However, when the same has been paid in December 2019, it should be allowed as a deduction in the previous in 1920 assessment year, that is assessment 2021. Since it is already included in the figure of bonus to staff debited to profit loss account of the year, so no further adjustment required. As I said, no adjustment required as it has already been debited to profit loss account, okay. Note number 3, the amount of rupees 2,500 paid for advertisement in souvenir issued by political party attracts disallowance under section 37(2)(b), okay. However, such expenditure falls within the meaning assigned to contribution under section 293A of the Companies Act 1956 and is hence eligible for deduction under section 80 GGB, okay. It is eligible for deduction. Any contribution to political party or electoral trust made by cash is not allowed as deduction under section 80 GGB, since in the present case the payment is to political party is made by an account paid check. It is allowed as deduction under section 80 GGB. So both the payment was made by check, so account pay check, so it was allowed. If it would have been paid by check cash, then it would not been allowed as deduction under section 80 GGB, okay. Now note number 4, the penalty of rupees 15,000 paid for non-fulfillment or delivery conditions of a contract for reason beyond control is not for the breach of law but was paid for breach of contractual obligations and therefore is allowable expense. So as I said, it is allowable expense, so they have made no treatment for that, okay. It has been assumed that 25,000 is the reasonable payment for the wife of director working as a junior lawyer, since junior advocate of High Court normally charges only 25,000 for the same opinion, and therefore the balance of 75,000 has been disallowed. So as I said, 75,000 will be disallowed and it has already been disallowed. Moving to note number 6, payment to an electoral trust qualifies for deduction under section 80 GGB since the payment is made by way of check. However, since the amount has already been debited to profit loss account, the same has to be added back for computing business income. So it has been added back and separately it has been considered under chapter 6A, that is 80 GGB. They have given deduction of rupees 1 lakh, okay. Now note number 7, the interest of rupees 12,750 paid on delayed payment or delayed deposit of goods and service tax is for breach of contract and hence it is not allowable as deduction. Breach of contract is allowable as deduction. So however, penalty of rupees 5,300 for delayed in filing of return is not allowable since it's breach of law. So it is a breach of law, 5,300, so it has added back while computing business income, okay. It should not be happen allowed, and they have already allowed 5,200, so it was added back. Now last adjustment, last note of this question, deduction at the rate of 100% of the capital expenditure available under section 35 AD in respect of specified business of setting up or operating a warehousing facility for storage of agricultural produce which commences operation on or after 1st April 2012. They've written wrongly 2012. It should be 2009. Okay. For setting up and operating warehousing facility for storage of agricultural produce, it should be commenced on or after 1st April 2009. It was similarly they have written correctly in previous illustrations, or I don't remember which illustration it was. I think first 5 illustration, I guess they have written it correctly. In that it was I have shown you that it was warehousing facility for storage of sugar was there. That should be on or after 1st April 2012, and for warehousing of storage of agricultural produce, it should be on or after 1st April 2009. Okay, remember that it should be 1st April 2009. It is presumed that 25 lakhs does not include expenditure on acquisition of land. As you all know that under section 35 AD, on acquisition of land, capital expenditure incurred on acquisition of land, that is not allowed at deduction. So in this case we are considering that entire amount of 25 lakhs, no cost of acquisition of land is there, so 100% we are giving on that, considering that no acquisition of land cost is there in 25 lakhs. Okay. The loss from specified business under section 35 AD warehousing should be segregated from the income from other business, since as per section 73A1 any loss computed in respect of specified business referred to in section 35 AD shall not be set off except against profit and gain, if any, of any other specified business. Okay, so only specified business loss can be set off against specified business profit. So loss of 10 lakh should be carried forward. In view of the opinion of section 73(1), the loss of 10 lakh from specified business cannot be set off against income from other business. Such loss has to be carried forward to be set off against from profit from specified business in the next assessment year. The return should be filed on or before the due date under section 139(1) for carry forward of such losses. So it is one of the mandatory condition for carry forward of losses under section of specified business, that is in return should be filed on or before the due date of filing of return. Okay, for claiming loss for carry forward of losses of specified business. Okay, hope you have understood this one. It was a very big question in which most of the adjustments has been given of PGBP. The 16 mark questions is normally asked in the question exam. Okay, so that's it with question number 6. Now moving to question number 7. A Limited paid IDBI, a public financial institution, a lump sum prepayment premium of rupees 1.2 lakhs on 7th April 2019 for restructuring its debt and reducing its rates of interest. It claimed the entire sum as business expenditure for the previous year 1920. Okay, so A Limited has paid prepayment premium, okay, 1.2 lakhs in the on 7th April 2019, and they are claiming entire amount in previous year 1920. Okay, the assessing officer however held that the prepayment premium should be amortized over a period of 10 years, being the tenure of the restructured loan. Okay, so assessing officer is telling that it should be amortized over a period of 10 years over the, that is tenure of the restructured loan, and thus only 10% of the prepayment premium in the previous year. Okay, thus allowed only 10% of the prepayment premium in the previous year 1920. Here is allowing only 10%, that is 1/10 you can say of 1.2 lakhs. Discuss with reason whether the contention of A Limited is correct or that of assessing officer is correct. So assessing officer is not correct in this case. As we all know, any payment of premium which is considered as interest, okay, it is allowed as deduction as per section 43B. Any payment is made which is allowed on payment basis, okay, as per section 36(1)(3). as I remember that as per section 36(1)(3), if we pay interest, okay, during the year, it will be allowed as deduction. Okay, but as 43B, it should be allowed as per section 43B, that is on payment basis deduction is allowed. Okay, hope you have understood. Let me show you the answer. The issue came up before the High Court Delhi High Court in CIT versus Gujarat Guardian Limited 2009 177 Taxman 434. The court observed the SSC company claim for deduction has to be allowed in one lump sum, keeping in view the provision of section 43BD, which provides that any sum payable by the SSC as interest on loan for borrowings from any financial institution shall be allowed to the SSC in the year in which the same is paid, irrespective of the period in which the liability to pay such sum is incurred by the SSC according to the method of accounting regularly followed by the SSC. Okay, it should be account irrespective of the accounting income regularly followed by the SSC. Okay, the High Court concerned with the tribunal view supporting the SSC that in view of section 3613 read with section 228A, the deduction for prepayment premium was allowable since there was no dispute that the prepayment premium was nothing but interest and that it was paid to public financial institution, that is IDBI. The court held that in terms of section 43BD, the SSC claim for deduction has to be allowed in the year in which payment has actually been made. Therefore, applying the ratio of the above case, the contention of A Limited is correct and that of assessing and not that of assessing officer. So okay, so as per section 3613 read with 228, deduction of prepayment should be allowed. Okay, and payment is allowed as per section 43B. Interest payment is allowed on payment basis, so it should be allowed. There is a note. Section 3613 provides for deduction of interest paid in respect of capital borrowed for the purpose of business or profession. Okay. Section 228A defines interest to include inter alia any charges in respect of money borrowed or debt incurred. Okay. Section 43B provides for certain deduction to be allowed only on actual payment basis. Okay. From a combined reading of these three sections, it can be inferred that prepayment premium represents interest as per section 228A. And number 2, such interest is deductible as business expenditure as per section 3613. Okay, and number 3 is such interest is deductible in one lump sum on actual payment basis as per section 43BD. Okay, hope you have understood. It was nice question. It can be asked. Okay, do read it once again before the examination. Now moving to part B of question number 7. Explain the tax treatment of emergency spares, okay, of plant and machinery acquired during the year which, even though kept ready for use, have not actually been used during the relevant previous year. So, okay, so spare parts which are ready for use and which is not actually used, it is considered as normal and will charge depreciation on that accordingly. So explain the tax treatment of that. Let's see what is the tax treatment. As per ICDS 5 on taxable tangible fixed assets, machinery spares shall as per ICDS 5 on tangible fixed assets, machinery spares shall be charged to revenue as and when consumed. Okay, normally they are saying that machinery spares should be charged to revenue. Okay, when such spares can be used only in connection with an item of tangible fixed assets and their use is expected to be irregular, they shall be capitalized. Okay, when there is use is irregular and related to tangible fixed asset, then it should be capitalized. Where the spares are capitalized as per the above requirement, the issue as to provision of depreciation arises. Whether depreciation can be provided where such spare parts are kept ready for use, or is it necessary that they are actually put to use. They are asking whether depreciation can be charged on when the asset is ready for use and where it has not been put to use. The issue was dealt by the Delhi High Court in CIT versus Insilco Limited 2010 320 ITR 322. The court observed that the expression used for the purpose of business appearing in section 32 also takes into account emergency spares which, even though ready for use, yet are not consumed or used during the relevant period. Okay, this is because these spares are specified to fix as specific. These spares are specific to fixed assets, namely plant and machinery, and form an integral part of the fixed assets. Okay, so this is the reason behind which it should be on which depreciation should be charged. This spares will be is in all probability be useless once the asset is discarded and will also have to be disposed of. Okay, once the asset is disposed of, then this asset is the spare parts is also spare asset is also required to be disposed of, as it is used as spares, kept as spares, sorry. In this sense, the concept of passive use, which applies to standby machinery, will also apply to emergency spares. Therefore, once the spares are considered as emergency spares required for plant and machinery, the assessee would be entitled to capitalize the entire cost of such spares and claim depreciation thereon. So we can claim normal depreciation on this. Okay, note, one of the conditions for claiming depreciation is that the asset must be used for the purpose of business or profession. For claiming depreciation, the asset must be used for business profession. So in this case, it is being used for business or profession, so accordingly we will charge depreciation on that after capitalizing it. In the past, court have dealt that in certain circumstances an asset can be said to be in use even when it is kept ready for use. For example, depreciation can be claimed by transport company on spare engine kept in the store in case of need. Okay, though they have not actually been used by the company. Hence, in such a case, the term use embraces both active use and passive use for business purpose. Okay, so in that, normal depreciation can be charged. Okay, hope you have understood. Now moving to question number 8. Easy Call Limited, to provide telecom services in Mumbai, obtained a license on 1st April 2017 for a period of 10 years ending on 31st March 27. Okay, again against a fees of rupees 27 lakhs to be paid in 3 installments of 9 lakh rupees each by April 2017, April 2018 and April 2019 respectively. Okay, 9 lakh in 17, 9 lakh in 18 and 9 lakh in 19 respectively. The company has commenced business on 1st May 2018. Okay, so explain how the payment made for license fees shall be dealt with under the Income Tax Act 1961 and the amount, if any, deductible for the assessment year 2021. Okay, so as you all know that any payment made for a license, which any payment is made before the commencement of business of license, okay, or telecommunication license, so the year in which the company commenced business, from that year till the year in which license expires, till that year it will be amortized over that period. That is, if on the first it is that is 9 lakh is paid on April 17 and April 18. Okay, 9 lakh each. So 9 lakh in respect of 2017 and 2018. So in respect of 2017, the business has commenced on 18-19. So from 18-19, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27. From, if we consider the business has commenced from 1st May 2019, so we are considering it April 19 as 18-19 as first year. From that, so it's coming to 9 years on the till the expiry of the license. So online, the amount which is paid 9 lakh on 17, on that we can amortize the 9 lakh rupees divided by 9 years. So amount for the assessment year 2021 will be 9 lakh divided by 9 years. So it will be 1 lakh in respect of payment made on April 2017, and in respect of April 2018 9 lakh payment. In that also we'll consider first year as 18-19, as payment is business has commenced on 1st May 2018. So 18-19 will be the first year, and the license expires on 31st March 2027. So that is total is coming to 9 years. So for April payment also, April 2018 payment also, 9 lakh divided by 9 years. So 1 lakh will be allowed in for the assessment year 2021. And the payment which is made on April 2019, that is after the commencement of business. So the year in which the payment is made, from that year till the expiry of the license, that is coming to 8 years. That is, first year is 19-20. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, so it's coming to 8 years from 1920 first year to 31st March 27 is coming to 8 years. So for the payment made on April 2019, so 9 lakh divided by 8 years, that amount will be what is the amount coming? 9 lakh divided by 8, so it's coming to 1,12,500. okay, will be allowed in all the years over a period of 8 years. okay, let's see the solution. The payment made for acquiring the license to operate telecom services in Mumbai shall be subject to deduction as per the scheme in section 35A(b). As per section 35A(b), any amount actually paid for obtaining license to operate telecommunication services shall be allowed as deduction in equal installments during the number of years for which license is in force. okay, so if the payment is made before the commencement of business, the deduction shall be allowed beginning with the year of commencement. okay, as I said, so beginning with the year of commencement, that is for payment made on April 17 and April 18, so we'll get the deduction from the year 1819. okay, and in any other cases, it will be allowed commencing from the year of payment. okay, deduction shall be allowed up to the year in which license shall cease to be enforced. So for April 19, first year will be financial year will be 1920 till the year 27. It's coming to 8 years. So over a period of 8 years, it will be allowed. okay. So let's see the calculation. The amount of deduction available for the assessment year 2021 is worked out as below. So they have made four columns: previous year of payment, second column is unexpired period of license and installment paid, and fourth column is deduction in respect of each installments. okay, so payment made in previous year 17-18, unexpired period is 9 years, installment paid is 9 lakhs, so 9 lakh divided by 9 years is coming to 1 lakh. Payment made in previous year 18-19, so unexpired period of license is 9 years, so 9 lakh divided by 1 lakh is 9 lakh divided by 9 years, so amount is coming to 1 lakh. In respect of payment made in previous year 1920, so unexpired period of license is 8 years, so payment made, installment paid is 9 lakh, so 9 lakh divided by 8 years coming to 1,12,500. so total deduction, okay, allowable is 3,12,500. okay, so the deduction under section 35A(b) for the assessment year 2021 shall be 3,12,500. hope you have understood. Now let's move to question number 9. Alpha Limited, a manufacturing company, has disclosed a net profit of rupees 12,50,000, okay, 12.5 lakh for the year ended 31st March 2020. You are required to compute the taxable income. okay, we have to ignore the provision of section 115BAA. okay, you are required to compute taxable income of the company for the assessment year 2021 after considering the following information, duly explaining the reason for each item of adjustment. So we have to explain the each item of adjustment. So let's see what the adjustment saying. Advertisement expenditure debited to profit loss account includes the sum of rupees 60,000 paid in cash to the sister concern of the director, the market value of which is 52,000. so excess amount which is 8,000, it will be allowed disallowed under different section, and 52,000 will be allowed disallowed under different section, because it will be allowed as 52,000 will be disallowed because it has been paid by cash. okay, so it will be allowed on as per section different section, and as per section 48(2), I guess 8,000 will be disallowed, and as per section 50A(3), 52,000 will be disallowed. We'll see on the adjustment. Repairs of plant machinery debited to profit loss account includes 1,80,000 towards replacement of worn out parts of machinery. Such machinery does not increase the future benefits from the asset beyond its previously assessed standards of performance. So in this case, no disallowance will be made. Also, the expenditure which was incurred, okay, even though the expenditure which was incurred, where is it? Okay, even though with the expenditure which was incurred, it's not adding any benefit to the value of the asset. We'll see to that in the adjustment. okay, Now the third adjustment, a sum of rupees 6,000 on account of liability foregone by a creditor has been taken to general reserve. The original purchase was debited to profit loss account in the year assessment year 15-16, so it has already been charged to profit loss account in the previous year, so it will be added to the profit loss account, and then profit should be increased because the amount which has been already been shown in profit loss account, which should not have been shown to profit loss account, so it will be, that is cessation of liability, so it will be chargeable to tax in the year in which liability ceases. Okay, so 6,000 will be taxable, and it will be profit should be increased, and no adjustment has been made in this year. Sale proceeds of import entitlement license amounting to rupees 1 lakh has been credited to profit loss account, which the company claims as capital receipt not chargeable to income tax. So it should be charged to profit loss account, and the company has credited to profit loss account as it is business income and it is taxable under that business income. So they have credited to profit account, no adjustment is required. Okay, now fifth one, being also engaged in biotechnology business, the company incurred the following expenditure on in-house research and development as approved by the prescribed authority. Okay, research equipment purchase 1,50,000, this is a capital expenditure, and remuneration paid to scientists is 50,000. Okay, this is a revenue expenditure. The total amount of rupees 2 lakh is debited to profit loss account. So as you all know, as per section 35(2)(ab), in respect of revenue expenditure 150% deduction is allowed, whereas they are charged only 50% deduction in PL, and in respect of capital expenditure also 150% other than building, and on land deduction is not allowed. So it is we are considering it as it is not a building nor a land, so it is a other expenditure, so we are assuming it, and 150% deduction should be allowed, whereas they have claimed only 100% deduction, so more 50% deduction will be allowed. So they have charged to PL only 2 lakh, so we have to charge 1 lakh more, we have to decrease the profit by 1 lakh more. Okay, let's see the solution. Computation of taxable income of Alpha Limited for the assessment year 2021. Net profit and loss as per the profit loss account is 12,50,000. Add items debited to profit loss account but not deductible or income to be taxed. Okay, so payment of advertisement expenditure of 60,000, 8,000 being the excess payment to a relative disallowed under section 48(2). as I said, it should be disallowed under a different section, that is 48(2). excess payment was made, and number 2, as the payment is made in cash, and since the remaining amount of 52,000 exceeds 10,000, okay, so 100% shall be disallowed under section 48(3). as I said, 52,000 has not been paid in cash, has been paid in cash in excess of 10,000, so it should be disallowed under section 48(3). okay, hope you understood. Now number 2, under section 31, expenditure relatable to current repairs regarding plant and machinery or furniture is allowed as deduction. So we are treating it as current repair, so it will be allowed, and it has already been charged to profit loss, no adjustment is required. So the test to determine whether replacement of parts of machinery amount to repairs or renewable in whether the replacement is one which is in substance replacement of defective parts or replacement of the entire machinery or substantial part of the entire machinery. CIT versus Darbhanga Sugar Company Limited, 1956, 29 ITR 21. okay, they give a case reference. okay, hence here expenditure on repairs does not bring in any new asset into existence. Such replacement can only be considered as a current repairs, hence no adjustment is required as it has already been charged to profit loss account. Further, as per ICDS 5 on tangible fixed assets, only an expenditure that increases the future benefits from the existing assets beyond its previous asset standards of the performance has to be added to the cost of assets. So as per ICDS, it is said that whenever any asset is being added, okay, that increases the future benefits, then only it should be added to the cost of asset, and normally we charge depreciation after that only. So if we are treating it as a revenue repairs, current repairs, so it has already been debited to profit account, so no adjustment is required. okay, number 3, liability foregone by creditors chargeable as business income but not credited to profit loss account. okay, so it should be chargeable as business income, so 6,000 is been added to profit and loss account. Number 4, sale proceeds of import entitlement. The sale of the right gives rise to profit or gain taxable under section 28(3)(a). Okay, as the amount has already been credited to profit loss account, no further adjustment is necessary. It has already been credited to profit loss account, no adjustment is required, as I said before. So last adjustment, less amount not debited to profit loss account but allowable as deduction. Okay, so expenditure on in-house research and development is entitled to weightage deduction of 150% of expenditure, both capital and revenue, as I said. So incurred under section 35(2)(ab)(1). So 2 lakh on 2 lakh 1,50,000, 150% deduction should have been allowed, 3 lakh. So expenditure of 2 lakh has already been debited to profit loss account. Amount therefore only additional deduction of 1 lakh rupees further to be allowed. So 1 lakh should be allowed. So the total taxable income is coming to 12,16,000. Okay, after all the adjustments. Hope you have understood. It was also a nice question. Now moving to question number 10. Okay, a corporation was set up by the state government, transferring all the buses owned by it for a consideration of 75 lakhs. So state government is owing buses and it is transferring to a corporation. Okay, and they are receiving a consideration of rupees 75 lakhs. State government receiving a consideration of 75 lakhs from corporation. Okay, which was discharged by the corporation by issue of equity shares. So corporation is issuing equity shares and it is getting rupees 75 lakh and it is paying to the state government. Okay, the corporation in its assessment claimed depreciation. Okay, can the depreciation be denied in the corporation hands on the ground that there was no registration of buses in the favor of the corporation? So in this case, depreciation will be allowed in this case. Okay, we'll see to that. There is a reference given to the case law. The decision of Supreme Court in Mysore Minerals Limited CIT 1999 239 ITR 775 is relevant in the context of the fact stated. The term asset used in section 32 must be assigned a wider meaning, and anyone in possession of property in his own title exercising dominion over the property to the exclusion of others and have the right to use and enjoy it must be taken to be the owner. Okay, so in this case corporation is considered to be the owner. Okay, so registration of buses is only a formality to perfect the title and does not bar enjoyment. The corporation cannot therefore be denied depreciation on buses. A similar decision was also taken in CIT versus J&K Tourism Development Corporation 2001 248 ITR 94 Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, hope you have understood. So depreciation will be allowed to corporation. So moving to part 2 of question number 10. Ravi succeeded to his father's business in April 2017. In previous year ended 31st March 2020, Ravi has written off the balance of in the name of Y, which relates to supply made by his father. Okay, which when he carried on business. Okay, so it is writing off any debtors. Okay, so it is writing off the debtors as bad debt. So Ravi desires to know whether the write-off could be eligible for deduction. Okay, so Ravi can write off this loss as bad debt because as it has already been, we are assuming that is already been taken. Okay, as income has already been considered as income in the previous year by his father. We are considering it that the amount was taken as income by his father for any previous years. So as you all know, for claiming bad debt, the amount should have been taken into account for the purpose of income. Okay, for the purpose of income of that business in earlier previous. So whether SSC has claimed or the previous owner has claimed, it doesn't matter. So in this case, deduction will be written off as bad debt to Ravi. Okay, there is no issue in this. Let's see. The deduction of bad debt is allowed if it is written off in the books of accounts of the SSC. In this case, Ravi has succeeded to the business carried on by his father. Under clause 7 of section 36.1. The amount has been written off in the books as irrecoverable is eligible for deduction provided the debt has already been taken into account for computing the income of the business in any earlier previous years. So debt should have been taken into account as income in earlier previous years. So we are assuming it has been taken into account in earlier previous. Therefore, Ravi is eligible for deduction in respect of the amount due in the name of Y, which is written off in the books of account as bad debt, even though the debt represents the amount due for supplies made by previous owner, that is deceased father of Ravi. That is, they are given a case reference, CIT versus T. Veerabhadra Rao K. Koteswara Rao and Company, 1985, 155 ITR 152 Supreme Court. Okay, so bad debt written off can be claimed by the SSC Mr. Ravi. Okay, now moving to last question of this chapter, and that's it. We'll give over to this chapter. So boat club is an association governed by the provision of section 44 of the Income Tax Act. It is a club of the Income Tax Act 1961. The subscription received from members for the year ended 31st March 2020 was 2 lakhs. Okay, the expenditure in the normal course of its activity were 3,85,000. So the loss is coming to 1,85,000. 2 lakh income and 3 lakh expenditure. The loss is coming to 1,85,000. Its other income taxable under the act works out to be 2,75,000. So other income of this club is 2,75,000. You are consulted as to how boat club income would be determined for the assessment year 2021. Okay, so in this case, so other income only 50% of loss can be adjusted, as there is a condition that any loss from the club, okay, that is 1,85,000 in this case, so it can be adjusted only up to the 50% of other income. So in this case, other income is 2,75,000. so of 2,75,000, if we compute 50%, so it's coming to 1,37,500. so 1,37,500 loss can be adjusted in this respect. Okay, let's see the answer. As per section 44A, the deficiency arising on account of income from members by way of inter alia subscription falls short of the expenditure incurred solely for the protection or advancement of interest of its members shall first be set off against the association income under the head profit and gain of business or profession. Okay, if there is no such income under this head, the deficiency shall be set off against income under any head. So in this case, only one business income is there, and in that case there is a deficiency and there is no other business income, so it will be set off against other heads. Okay, so let's see particulars. Rupees income from subscription is 2 lakhs and expense incurred in the course of its activity is 3,85,000. deficiency is 1,85,000. so other income is 2,75,000. so deficiency, as I said, it will be restricted to 50% of other income. So less deficiency is 1,85,000 but limited to 50% of other income, that is 1,37,500. so income of association is 1,37,500. So there is a ceiling on deduction admissible by way of deficiency, being that it shall not exceed half of the total income of the association computed before making any allowance under this section. Okay, this ceiling has been exceeded above and the deficiency hence is limited to 1,35,000, being half of 2,75,000. There is given a section reference, section 44A3. Okay, hope you have understood. That's it with PGBP chapter, and if there is any query you can write to me on the comment box. Okay, hope you have understood all the illustration exercises. Okay, don't forget to subscribe the channel and also share with your friends. Okay, and also click on the bell icon, as I'll be soon uploading the next chapter question answers, illustration and as well as exercise question answers of ICAI Study Mat. Okay, now one more announcement. Anyone willing to solve ICAI indirect tax CA final question answers of ICAI Study Mat, okay, you can go to the description and go to the link and watch the video. It is very helpful for IDT. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Stay healthy, eat healthy, and as I said before, eat less so that you can study properly. You will not feel drowsy or you will not be feeling sleepy. So thank you very much without wasting any time. Now study hard. Bye bye.